Greetings, everyone. Ken Micallef back at Montreal Audiofest 2026. In front of me is Itai Azerad. How are you, Itai?
I'm well, thank you.
Itai is the man behind Heaven 11 Audio,
Yes.
and he also carries the Bukart speakers. Now, the Bukart speakers I've been wanting to see and hear, as Mr. Darko has talked about them so often, and they're such beautiful speakers. And I've been sitting here about 10 minutes, and right away, you hear amazing low end from these speakers, but more importantly, you get these speakers that convey emotion really well.
Yeah.
I don't know who this woman was singing, but it was like right away, and that's what I want to hear is emotion. So tell me about the amp behind you.
Yeah, so the amp is in its third iteration. And the interesting thing we did with the third iteration is that we made it modular. Actually, when I went to Expona a few years ago, I had a gentleman come over to me and say, are you going to make a Hypex version? Because we use the ice powers. And I said, no. And when he left, I was like, well, why not? So I asked my engineer, I said, is it possible to make it so that we can put either the Hypex or the ice powers into our amplifiers? And he said, yes. And when he said yes, obviously it opened up a Pandora's box. I was like, well, in that case, can we like make a modular DAC where we can have like the core DAC or like a higher end performance DAC with dual chips, better crystals and all that stuff? And he said, yes. I said, okay, so what about the headphone amp? Can we do the same thing for the headphone amp? And he said yes to that too. So what the system is built like with little modules. And when you order the amp, because we sell direct to consumer, the consumer configures the amp to the sound signature they're chasing.
And what are how many sound signatures are they allowed?
Well, so you have a choice between two Class D amps, two DACs, and two headphone amps. And obviously the tubes, you can either get the red JJ-ECC99 or the gold version, and those have a different sound signature too.
Is it a tube input?
It's it's tube pre married to a Class D power section.
And what are the two available DACs?
So there, it's the same DAC. It's the ESS 9039, but the core version has only one chip, and the performance version has two DAC chips, better voltage regulators, better crystals. So because we opened it up in a modular way, we're not necessarily tied to the same price envelope, the same budget envelope. You know, we could like say, okay, we can spend more on the DAC, and if the person so desires, they can get a better one.
So what's the respective prices on a single DAC and a double DAC?
So I have Canadian dollars.
That's fine.
In my
Canadian
head
fine
because I'm doing the Canadian show, but it's the difference is like $385 between the regular DAC and the upgraded DAC.
And what's the total price of that amp?
So the amp behind me is pretty much fully decked, and that's 4,900 Canadian.
And how much power does it have?
So that has the Hypex card, which has 250 watts RMS into 4 or 125 into 8 ohms.
And what kind of wood is that on the knobs?
So
Don't move.
Okay, that's another thing you can customize. You can customize the knobs. This one is olive wood. We have spalted maple. We also have marble. It's just a way to personalize.
That's great.
Your equipment, you know.
And then you can tube roll as well, obviously.
Tube roll as well. You can put 12 AU7s, 12 BH7s.
Does it have a remote?
It does have a remote.
And how much does it weigh?
The amp weighs 12 pounds.
Wow.
And it's all made in Montreal.
Wow.
With the exception of the casing, which is made in Ontario.
And what kind of speaker cables are these?
So these speaker cables were actually tuned for this amp. They're crescendo cables. They're also made locally. And I worked with Luc, the manufacturer of the cables, and we tried all these different connectors and different cable types until we got something that we thought was a good match.
And these speakers, you know, I've seen them a lot, and they're just beautiful speakers.
Yeah.
They look singular. They're beautiful. They're artistic,
Right.
and they're kind of mysterious with the way just like a silk dome tweeter is sort of horn loaded, wave guide. What do
It's
you
the
call it?
wave guide. Yeah, the wave guide is CNC'd into the solid oak enclosure.
Solid oak.
Yeah.
What do you mean solid oak?
Well, I mean it's not a veneer. It's oak panels. If you look, you'll see there's like a comb pattern that shows you the thickness of the oak panels.
How thick are the individual panels?
They look to be about like a little over 3/4 of an inch.
So it's a silk dome tweeter.
That I'm not sure about. You'd have to check.
And tell me about the woofer, mid-bass woofer. It's got that weird corrugated thing I've seen in other speakers, but these look like they've been ripped. These look like they're stored in shipping.
Yeah. So a lot of speakers are starting to use these woofers. They're the Purify woofers. And
Purify, who make the Class D?
They make Class D,
really, and they make woofers.
And they make a lot of drivers actually.
Hell.
Yeah.
And the stand comes with the speaker.
The stands are bought separately, but they're also from Bukart.
And how sensitive are these speakers?
They're not that sensitive. I believe it's like 85 dB.
And the what's the wattage again on the amp?
The amp is 250 into 4,
right.
So it has no problem driving them.
Right. Any good Class D or any they're 85. You would need a really strong tube amp to do.
Yeah, you need current.
Right.
You need an amp with current.
And how much are these speakers per pair?
Again, I have the Canadian prices.
That's fine.
$64.50 Canadian.
And so you'll be at Exponus. You're finally bringing them to the U.S.
Yes, and I finally convinced Matt Bukart to come to Expo.
Why did you need to convince him?
Because I've been asking him. I think this is like the second or third year I've asked him to do a show with me. I discovered Bukart through my clients because they kept raving about the older model, which was the S400. And I got a pair because I kept hearing about it from
right.
clients, and I was blown away by them.
Which model are these?
The ones that I'm referring to?
No, these.
Oh, these are the E50.
E50. And does he make other Bukart speakers?
Yes, he's got a whole line of speakers, and he also does active speakers, which I'm not familiar with. But he has like a more budget line. He has the S400, which just came out with a Mark III, which I haven't heard. But the Mark II, I still own. I use it in my cottage. It's a more relaxed speaker, but it has great bass extension too.
There's nothing aggressive about these speakers.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot more low-level details in these than the S400s.
And is that a 6-inch mid bass?
Yeah.
And there are two passive woofers on the back that are large and take up the entire surface on the back. What size are those?
I believe they're 4 inches. I'm not sure.
And they're passive.
They're passive radiators.
So what do you see as the sound characteristics of this speaker with that amp and without that amp?
Well, like I said, I mean, it has great low-level details. It has great bass extension. I would describe it as slightly neutral. You know, it's definitely not a warm sounding speaker. It's a neutral sounding speaker. And, but it's a very capable speaker, and it could do like a lot of different genres, you know. We're not talking like electrostats, which only sound good with music that doesn't have a lot of dynamics. These could do dynamics, even though their small size does not tell the whole story.
Oh yeah, these as soon as I walked in, these are room filling and they have a lot of bass. What is that mid bass woofer made out of?
I have no idea. That's mad stat.
And do you think part of what it does is that unusual? Because I know the corrugated thing helps to break up resonances at the level. And then that unusual way they've loaded what looks like a silk dome tweeter to me. It's kind of a weird visual effect.
Yeah, I know that the tweeter is a ScanSpeak tweeter that they made especially for this model.
And the cabinet is solid oak walls
Yeah, it's solid oak, and it's made at the Bukart factory
in Denmark.
in Denmark. Yeah.
He makes the stands as well.
Yes.
How much are the stands Canadian?
Canadian 720
Pair.
pair. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Itai, I'm so happy to have met you and seen these, and now I'm going to listen. I'm excited you're coming to Exponus.
Yeah.
Now I can ask Jim Often to let me review these. Very exciting. Thanks for speaking with us today.
All right.